Hi guys, welcome back. Do you know something? I might just regret this, but guess what? You might just regret not watching this. My spouse has steadfastly refused to, let's say, to execute a piece of necessary paperwork that I need, not only for my visa, but for my 90-day report. Hi guys, welcome back. This is Alpha Omega Occasionally. At this occasion we're talking about regrets, and Jesus, do I have a lot of them to share with you today. I'm mindful about washing my dirty linen in public because, well, for obvious reasons. It's just something you don't do. A lot of people do it. It doesn't make it right. I don't want to do that, but I want to just share with you. It's not preaching. I'm not trying to tell anyone that these are the regrets that you'll have. These are the regrets that I have. Going into my 14th year in Thailand. And I have lots of regrets. And I don't want to repeat myself. I've covered a lot in previous videos about difficulties you will have in relationships with Thai women and stuff like that. But I will touch on some of the things that are really concerning for me now at the moment. And I'll go into some more detail on other things that are really concerning for me at the moment, and they could be really concerning for you, if not now, but in the future. That lady there was selling pad thai. I had to move away because they're playing music, but she's selling pad thai for 20 baht. You won't regret that. Well, you might do, because it's full of MSG. That's the thing. I mean, again, it's not about Thai food, but Thai food is full of salt, it's full of sugar, and you might just regret that because the prevalence of stroke in Thailand is it's huge. All you got to do is go for a walk around any kind of area of Bangkok. I'm not going to mimic the kind of thing I'm talking about, but you'll see men your age, my age, even younger, with impaired mobility, let's say. And it's obvious it's due to a stroke. So, here's a regret that I have. I haven't looked after my health since I've been in Thailand. I was smoking when I first came here. I stopped, I switched to vaping, I stopped, thank God, then I went back again, then I stopped again. Drinking has been a constant, and I can't do without alcohol. I will do without alcohol for the rest of this week because I was drinking alcohol 3 nights on the trot. And the reason I was drinking last night is because of the stress in my marriage. If you're wondering where we are, we're in Sudhi-san Market. This is in the CBD of Sudhi-san, which is 5 MRT stops from Sukhumvit, Asal and Sukhumvit. It's very business, office girl orientated, but today being the 5th, is it? The 5th of January, I don't think all the offices are open because it's not as busy as it normally would be. You see, I came down here to get me breakfast because my wife used to make my breakfast, but she doesn't do it anymore. I'm not going to go into all the details of that, but I'll just tell you that if your wife, your Thai wife, gets a bee in her bonnet about whatever it may be, you'll find yourself in a very, very precarious and vulnerable situation because she's in control of your visa if you're married with her. Well, it's your wife you're married. And that's the situation I find myself in without getting into too much detail. My spouse has steadfastly refused to, let's say, to execute a piece of necessary paperwork that I need, not only for my visa, but for my 90-day reports. Look, you probably read into this as much as you want to read into it, but I'm just telling you that's the situation I find myself in at the moment. And it highlights to me the fact that I am as vulnerable as hell, and that's a regret. That's a huge regret. Landing myself in this situation where I'm not in control of my destiny, of my domicile, of my place of domicile. And if I lose my right to reside in Thailand, I will lose access to my son, because she has control over that. I'm not saying she's vindictive. I'm not saying that for 1 minute. She's a wonderful person. But I'm using she as the group she. It could be your she or her that has this level of control over you. And you invest your time, you invest your money, you invest your energy, you invest your emotion. You invest all of you into this life in Thailand, and it hangs on a thread because you're not a bloody citizen, and you never bloody will be unless you're one of the hen's teeth amount of people who manage to do that. I wish I could become a Thai citizen. I wish. But it's not an option for me. I meet a lot of the criteria, but some of the criteria I don't. And one of the criteria that causes mayhem, well, not mayhem, that causes friction and animosity in my life is bloody money, or the lack thereof. So you see, I've set myself down here with some consomme and chicken with rice. There you go. This is not a food channel, you know, it never has been, it never will be, but there's sometimes no harm in giving a bit of continuity, you know what I mean? Oh, well, I always say, the consomme you get in Thailand, this watery, soupy stock, chicken stock, whatever you call it, it's absolutely spot on. So, I'm going to tuck into this. I ordered too much, 100 baht, but I got a lot. That's lovely. But I'll tell you what's not lovely. It's leaving yourself at the behest of a Thai woman. I have a very good friend of mine. He spent a lot of time, or he did spend a lot of time in Thailand, and hopefully he'll be back here again. And he's my age, and he's never been married in his life. I'm talking about this as my biggest regret, because I realise, on top of all this, I've got a responsibility to my son, who is 8 this year. And it's my responsibility to maintain my relationship with his mother at all costs because of him. Because if I don't maintain that relationship, or that relationship isn't maintained, it won't just mean the end of the relationship, it'll be the end of the relationship with him, because I won't be able to stay here. And you say, you could get a dependency visa, but there's criteria for that as well. And while, I've just checked it there, while I may qualify for a dependency visa, I don't think I want to stay in Thailand as a single man. There's too much temptation. That's another thing. That's a regret. Or is it a regret? You come here, you've got a few bob in your pocket, some beautiful girls, you go to a go-go bar and you have a bit of fun. Do you regret it, or would you regret it? I don't regret it. It's called living your life. I regret buying a car. Well, I regret buying the car I bought. It's a Toyota Camry. I bought it brand new, $36,000. What is it? I can't remember the Thai price, but 1.5 million. It was 1,300,000. That's it. 1,300,000 Thai baht at the time. And I wanted to buy a Hilux 4-door with all the bells and whistles. But she wouldn't have it. Because it's seen as a working man's car. And I couldn't pick her up from her place of work driving a pickup. That's the truth. That's the truth. Saving bloody face. There are oodles of places you could live that you wouldn't be dependent on bloody visas. There are oodles of places that you could live as a single man without having to depend on a woman to maintain your right to stay. I'm not saying by any means, and don't read into this too much, lads, I'm not saying by any means that I'm in crisis with my spouse. I wouldn't call it crisis, but I feel extremely vulnerable. Extremely vulnerable. And it's a horrible place to be. No amount of sunshine can counteract depression. You might think that if I told you that I married a woman that doesn't want money off me or doesn't require money off me, a Thai woman, and that she earns more than double what I earn, you might think that that's a great situation to be in. It's not. Over time, she gets aggrieved by the fact that she is the main breadwinner, and she furnishes herself with the trappings of life that she can afford because of that. Like, I'm sitting here having this for 100 baht, but if I was with her, it'd be in a different place paying 800 baht. I'm not a rice person, I never was, but sometimes, as my father said, no regrets. Hunger is good sauce. You know, sitting in a place like this of a morning, walking around markets like this of a morning, there's no shortage of middle-aged women, single middle-aged women. And you could find yourself in this, but this is maybe wishful thinking. You could find yourself availing of a little bit of relief from reality if you ran into a nice lady, let's say. Now there's a regret. Before I met my spouse, I didn't have a lot of time to familiarise myself with the ways of Thailand. And although I wasn't living in Bangkok when I met her, and I made my own way and I'd established myself and I had my own apartment and stuff like that. What do you got? That's what I mean to say. Big smile. But I regret not having more time before I got married. See, hindsight is great. Hindsight is fucking fantastic. I'm very lucky. I'm lucky to be in the situation that I'm in. I'm lucky to be 13 years in, going into my 14th year. For me, that's a success. I didn't piss me money away. Before we move on in this video, I just want to reiterate that my spouse is a fantastic woman. She's a self-accomplished woman. She accomplished everything she has by herself. And it's fantastic. But My problem is that I now feel like an accessory almost to her life. And when you're an accessory, you're disposable. I've said it a million times. That one of the reasons I do YouTube is therapeutic. I get to express myself, I get to talk, I get to share. And what I said that I'm not washing my dirty linen in public, I'm not, because I'm not going into detail. I'm just giving a generalization of what can happen and how it can render you into a situation where it's absolutely, you could end yourself up, you could be in limbo. I could describe my situation today as being in limbo. It could go either way. That was nice. Couldn't finish it all. Just about. My mother used to say, my eyes are bigger than my belly. I'm no angel in this either, by the way. And see, people in vulnerable situations shouldn't behave recklessly. I'm not saying I do or I have. Maybe I have in the past, yeah. But she's not wrong. I'm not wrong. She just sees things her way. I used to work with a guy years ago, a fella called Conway. And we used to say, there's only one way, and that's the Conway. Look, I'm in control of the situation this morning. I can determine what I do. I can determine where I go. But when it comes to 3:30 to collect Harry from school, my independence is the wrong word to use. My freedom is curtailed a bit. Not that I would use the word curtail, I'm just using it as a term of convenience. I love my son. I love being with him. And then I take care of him up and she comes home, and then she comes home, and then that's another regret. Don't move into a 30 square metre apartment with a Thai woman, especially have a kid. It's just, there is no personal space whatsoever. Anyway, let's adjourn. You see, another regret that I might have is in putting this video up on YouTube. Because it could be a storm in a teacup, which it isn't, but it could be. I struggle sometimes in looking for, well, I don't. I struggle sometimes in myself. Will I put this up? Will I put that up on YouTube? My previous video about being Are You Welcome in Thailand, I had to cut a whole chunk out of that and re-record it because I was too critical, let's say. And as we all know that you have to be mindful of your critique in Thailand. Sometimes you get carried away, and that's another thing. You can get carried away with yourself. Have a few beers, off you go. I said before, I don't regret enjoying myself here. Or I won't regret enjoying myself here. Jesus, that's a Bentley. I don't know if you saw that, you probably didn't, my God. But, yeah, I do regret the consequences of enjoying myself. I really don't know. Let's walk on. The reason I'm walking on is to make continuity, makes it more interesting. This could be termed as another regret. If I hadn't come to Thailand with the money I had at my disposal at the time, I could have bought myself a property back in Ireland at that time. Not now because of the way things have gone. But at that time, and I could have been mortgage free for the rest of my life. But I would be constantly, because I had it in my mind to come to Thailand to see, I would have constantly be regretting locking myself into Ireland, because that's what I would have been doing, locking myself in, and constantly, forever wondering what the prospect of moving to Thailand would have brought. Well, I can tell you, every single thing I do here, I must say I enjoy. Every single aspect of Thailand. Well, obviously there's things that piss me off, but you know what I mean. And my relationship with my spouse, I enjoy, because I love her. But there are circumstances that have manifested themselves now that are causing friction. And it's not just that, but it can have consequences going forward if my spouse decides not to be compliant in the furnishing of documentation for a said visa. And it can easily happen. I can tell you that for nothing. I always say it, lads, everything is okay until it isn't. There's a YouTuber I was watching, not going to mention his name, English fella, lost 50% of his eyesight, coming out of a bar in Pattaya, stepping down out of the bar, got a massive pain in his eye. If he's watching this, he'll know who he is. He had to go back to the UK. Obviously couldn't afford to stay here and receive treatment. And that's what probably happened to me, not the UK, because you know I'm not from the UK. But if I got sick, I don't think, initially she probably would, but the daily drudge of looking after someone who's incapacitated would wear thin, you know, the enthusiasm would wear thin, and I don't think that it would be either viable or practical for me to stay here if I became incapacitated. There you are. I tell you this much, lads. I'm a grafter. I've always been a grafter. I'm tenacious. I've always been tenacious. People have said that about me. So no matter what happens, I'll be bringing you back another video very, very soon. It could be from Kuala Lumpur. Wow. See what I mean? It could be from Kuala Lumpur. It could be from Timbuktu. It could be from Johannesburg. No, it won't be from Johannesburg. That's for damn sure. Nothing wrong with South Africa. Nothing wrong with it. But I just don't think I'd be able to do this in Johannesburg. And I think anyone from Johannesburg will agree with me there. But you know what I mean. So guys, if you've enjoyed this, if any aspect of this video has touched you in any way, please share your experience in the comment section. And remember, I will be back with another wonderful video very soon. That meal was nice, but I just tell you about markets in Thailand. It was cold. It was cold. The chicken was cold. Okay, they have them in these bambarees, and they don't. Their profit margin is tight, I suppose, so they don't buy bottled gas to keep the stuff warm. But that's all I'll say about that. It was nice. It was nice. The reason it cost 100 baht, I got double. I got 2 pieces of chicken, and one would have been enough. So there you are, lads. Join me again soon for another wonderful video on this channel. There you go.